This is a really important thing to us. If there's nothing else that you get from us, and I hope you get a lot from us because we're here talking to y'all, please continue to talk about money. I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but you got to preach to the choir so they know what to sing. Please continue to talk to each other about money. It's an important thing. Pam, in her first contract, was told she could not talk about her salary.
I could lose my job. I could get fired if I shared my salary with my coworkers. Money is the last taboo. Parents are more afraid to talk to their kids about money than about sex or drugs.
Or terrorism.
Or terrorism.
They'll talk to the kids about terrorism. They can tell you about ISIS before they tell you about money.
Yeah, right? So why is that? Where did this taboo come from? Where did this emotional shame and embarrassment come from? When we all have to deal with money, we're all dealing with setbacks, we're all dealing with mistakes, right? Where did that come from? Whose narrative is that supporting? And so we want you to start breaking down the taboo today. I'm sure you already are. And find a money buddy.
It could be someone you know, someone you don't know. Doesn't really matter. If we're uneven here, it could be groups of 3. That's fine too.
3 money buddies is good. And with your money buddy, we want you to take couple minutes or 1 minute.
A minute. You got about a minute.
Write down the last 10 things you bought recently.
All right, did everybody get 10 things down? No, you didn't. I have to say, I have to apologize. I'm free now, so I can run amongst y'all. I got to apologize, everybody. I'm going to tell you the truth. We did this to mess with y'all.
We tricked you. That was hard, right?
It's really hard writing down 10 things, the last 10 things.
10 things you bought? I don't remember the last 2 things I bought. I remember doing this activity and I cheated. I pulled in my Mint account. I was like,
I know that we're educators and we're planners and all this kind of good stuff, so we know what we're supposed to do. But does anyone here like budgeting? Couple of y'all.
My spreadsheet people, all right? Thank you.
Yeah, my spreadsheeters. I remember the first time I opened up Mint.com and I was really excited because, as a creative, I love all the visual stuff.
Yeah,
and
pretty.
It was pretty. It gave me like the little pie charts and stuff. I didn't have to make them. I loved it. And then I put in all my stuff. And then after a month, it told me I went $50 over on my food budget.
Nothing happened after.
But, well,
you kept eating.
No, there was a red bar. They had a red bar. And I was like, okay. It said I'm wrong. Like, I guess I'm wrong. I guess I'm bad at this. But I'm still hungry. Y'all see me, I'm skinny, man. I can't like miss a meal. I'll just float away. So I gotta have my food. And then I put it away. I didn't mess with it after that.
That's what happens. So one of the best pieces of financial advice I ever got is where you spend your money is a representation of what you value.
You always put your money where your mouth is. Always.
Before you pull out spreadsheets, before you pull out the Mint.com, figure out what you actually value. And we have a matrix for you to help you do that.
For our math people.
Yes.
This is a matrix. It's not a mathematical matrix, it's a feelings matrix.
Yes, it's a feelings matrix. So we call it the spending values matrix. We actually do this activity with kids as young as 5 and 6, all the way up through adulthood. Yeah.
We didn't invent this, by the way. This is the productivity matrix.
Yes.
That's used in business. Urgent report matrix that's used in productivity. And we repurpose it because we think that it works well in terms of figuring out your values.
Yes. So the first box on the top left is the basics.
Did anybody put their rent or
cell
any
phone
bills?
bill as something they spend? Oh, nice. Those are the basics. There you go. Those are the kinds of things we sometimes forget, right? It's like, oh yeah, I did spend money on that. Hold on. The basics are your fixed expenses, right? They're the ones that you have to spend money on because you're like, okay, I physically need these things to live, like my cell phone. Transportation, internet, your utility bills, all of that stuff, the basics. Guess what? You figure out that number once, and you don't have to track it again.
The biggest busy work budgeting thing I've seen is like every time you go to start a budget again, you start going over those basics.
Right.
Because you're like, those are the things I know. And I'm just going to do that, and now I'm tired, and I'm going to put it away, and then 3 months later, I'm going to start doing it again. Oh, what's my rent? Here we go.
Still the same, hopefully.
It should be paid attention to because, you know, folks love to stick in hidden fees and change stuff around.
So
but for the most part, put it away.
Yeah.
Put it aside. You know what you got.
Yes.
The next part is where it gets a little interesting.
The details, where you don't really need to buy coffee every day.
But you need to buy coffee every day.
Right?
Or it doesn't have to be coffee. Maybe you love sneakers. Or maybe you're a video game head. Maybe you just like going out to the movies with your friends. You've got a social activity that's important to you, that feeds you emotionally, that makes it easier to get through the life that we have.
Yeah, and these are the things about the details those are the things that we're told to feel the most guilty about. We think of them first, we enjoy them, we want to make them a regular part of our lives, and they're the first thing that people tell us to cut. Oh, you buy coffee every day? Well, you know, if you took that $5 and you spent on coffee and you put it into a savings account, and then compound interest, and
This is how you deal with those people. You have to, you know, come with kindness. You put your arm around them, you put one foot in front of the other, and push. You know, the reality is, you're not actually saving that money and becoming a millionaire off the non-coffee drinking.
You're not taking that $5 and literally putting it into your savings account. What we see happen, really, is you're so good all week, right? You're like, all right, I'm going to give up that coffee. I'm going to give up going to the movies. You're so good all week or all month or whatever it is. And then one day you're like, you know what? I've been so good all week.
I'm going to treat myself.
Dessert, let me get a coffee, and let me take myself out to dinner. And you know what? I haven't had a massage in a while. Let me do that too. It's been a while since I've been shopping.
You know, I was talking about like the sneakerheads, like the people who like spend like hours in line waiting for the new shoes. Oftentimes when you get to the front of the line, those shoes aren't there. How many people have gone somewhere to spend some money on a thing, the thing you wanted wasn't there, and you spent that money anyway? You were ready to spend money.
Your body was ready.
It's telling you to do that. And you didn't even have the thing you wanted. We're all very smart people. And we're all on top of it. And we know that advertising is game and that, you know, McDonald's and In-N-Out, they use red and yellow to get our impulse centers. And if you got a Popeyes near you, my subway stop in New York was right above the Popeyes. And I don't even like them, but they be wafting that smell up there. Woo!
When you're tired and hungry, that's what you get.
Well, that's the thing, is most of the time I'm good. I'm like, yeah, I don't need that. I'm going to go get my groceries and stuff. But when you're worn out, that's when they get you.
Right.
I mean, when you're tired, your friends can convince you to do stuff you didn't want to do. Like, oh, I end up here.
It's true. So what ends up happening, especially when one, you don't know what your details are, and if you do, you deny yourself of the details, is you end up spending money anyway, but it ends up getting spent on the nothing. Now, the nothing may be things that didn't even make it on your list. The nothing are those things that you didn't remember and you didn't write down and you had a hard time when you go back and you see, where did all my money go? And that's where it went.
The nothing is when you bought the coffee, but then you also got a Danish, because like it was in my face and I was tired, it looked pretty. I don't even really like Danishes, but you ate that. The nothing is when you went to Walgreens to pick up something and they had all those little items and then, see how you folks already like,
Somebody spent $100 at Walgreens.
Oh, they got a new flavor chapstick. I should Yeah. The thing about the nothing and the details, it can be hard to tell which one is which. And Pam was alluding to the thing that we use as our beginning of a guide is, do you remember it? Does it make a good story? Man, I love telling this story about how we went to San Diego for this conference and there was the Lucha Libre burrito shop. And they were having a special that if you tried all...
It was a burrito challenge.
Of their, the burrito challenge. If you tried all of their 5 new burritos, they would send you a t-shirt and a medal that let you skip in line. And the place was cool. It had Lucha Libre masks everywhere, had a championship belt VIP section and all that stuff.
We spent $100 on burritos in like 3 days.
In 3 days. And it was worth it.